Did you ever wonder what it's like to watch a monster get created in real time? Well, all you gotta do is watch the movie Platoon. So, in the movie, we watch in real time how war can manipulate and mangle a good man, a stand-up guy, and turn him into a monster. Now, this is perfectly summed up by Charlie Sheen's character in the final scene as he leaves us with this closing monologue. We did not fight the enemy, we fought ourselves, and the enemy was within us. Now, I know that can sound extremely cheesy and cringy, and I would say it definitely sounds like a tree hugger, but there are truths within it. I've always had this fascination with the Vietnam War, just the aesthetic of it, the guns, the choppers, the absolute brutality of it, and the just straight horror of being in a jungle. Like, to me, even though it's terrifying and sad, it is fascinating. So going into the film, I was slightly biased on the positive side because I knew that I liked the stuff. I wanted to watch something that I already know that I enjoy. And yeah, I liked it, but I don't think I would say that I enjoyed it nearly as much as Apocalypse Now, just because that movie is beyond goated. I could do a 10-minute video on that itself. But I would say that Platoon had a great cast. I knew roughly who was in it, but I didn't know who was the main character, so I assumed Willem Dafoe was going to be the main character just because I like him. And obviously within the first 2 or 3 scenes, you realize that no, it's not him. It's actually Charlie Sheen, which I really don't know too much about him besides 2.5 Men. So to see a young Charlie Sheen was kind of interesting. I learned something for sure. Willem Dafoe was easily my favorite character in the film. He was phenomenal, but I wish he had more screen time. But on the flip side, by limiting his minutes, it did add to the mystique of his character, or just the rawness of how laid back and cool, but yet sticking to his morals he was. So it did work out limiting his minutes all in all. Tom Berenger, you could argue, was probably the second or third most important character in the film. He had a few glimpses of like, oh, maybe this guy's gonna do the right thing, whatever, but that scar on his face, that just told the whole story. You knew he, at the end of the day, was gonna be the bad guy. And then Johnny Depp, he was in it. In the intro, he was probably the 20th name that was, on screen. So I was like, that's kind of crazy. But if you go back, it was a little early in his career, so it made sense why he kind of was limited to time. But what he had, he absolutely did great. Early on, we find out that Charlie Sheen's character was in college, then he dropped out, enlisted in the military, and now he's here. We didn't really need to be told that because he's so naive and just so wide-eyed, deer in headlights, that it was pretty obvious that's kind of his background. So he starts off like that, and just through the brutality of war, through the raid of that rice farm, whether they were helping Vietnamese soldiers or not, we don't know, but the Americans were just brutal in that scene. And as the US soldiers are leaving the village, there's an absolute disgusting scene. They don't show it, but you can put 2 and 2 together. So between that absolute despicable scene and then them just going into the village and doing whatever they want, you can kind of see Charlie Sheen's character develop in real time, and he's kind of getting jaded and desensitized to the world around him. But there's a little bit of him that's fighting to try to keep his humanity. Unfortunately, he kind of battles with that the rest of the movie, and he absolutely develops and turns into kind of a completely different person from the start. So let me know, have you seen Platoon? If not, go and take a look. Great movie.